Good morning. How's it going, everybody? We are live. So, those of you watching the replay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. Pale Rider, you're alive. You're alive. Like a zombie, man. I was watching Pale Rider last night, man. He was worried about him. He's getting all like psychedelic-y on his thumbnails, and you could tell, man, he wasn't 100%. Pale Rider, hope you get to feeling better, man. Prayers to you, my friend. And then Pigtail, go Chiefs, right? That was a good game. Shows you that karma does exist. Number 58 doing that late hit basically lost him the game, I think. So there's that. Yeah, Mom and I are both staying home. Good. Yeah, they closed schools this morning. We had some ice roll through. So Draco, when you do get a chance this week, I have a card for you that you need to come by and pick up eventually. If not, we'll have lunch or something sometime this week, or dinner or something, hang out. Anyways, so wife and I went to church, and then afterwards we went to a place to have lunch to talk about some major things that are going on in our personal lives. And as we left, I broke traction on my pickup. I'm like, oh, this is not good. It was freeze drizzling. So we got home. We were gonna do some more running around, but we got home, and then I got the alert that schools were closed this morning. So it's a little slick outside in this area, and that's what I'm going to go over. We're going to go over the weather alerts. Let's get rid of this here. So good morning. I hope all is well. I hope the soothing sound of my voice is not putting you to sleep. had a troll say that. It was funny. I think one of my mods took care of him, so no biggie. I've got one, possibly two trucks stuck out there in that system out west, and that wasn't by choice, either one. That was what they were given, with some of the things that we've set up. So let's go over that first. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. All right, share screen, and then we'll get to the comments here. I won't neglect you guys. All right, so this is the first thing my driver sent me. It is road closures over there off the old I-80. It's all jacked up. There was a pile up out there too, as usual, because no one pays attention. Road closed due to winter conditions and crashes as of January 29th. So that was what, yesterday? Brutal conditions, and they're dealing with wind chill alerts. So let's see if we can find the next picture he sent me. So there's this one. This was the earlier one. So I imagine it's still the same. So let me get the weather map up here. The alerts, at least. Share screen. There we go. Look at that. I think you folks in the Southeast are in pretty good shape. Oh, man, that doesn't look good. Fighting the lower rates last week, and eventually you're going to have to roll in some of this sometime somewhere. And this is what we're looking at now. This particular area right here, we all know, anybody who's driven for more than a minute knows that that Texas is the last place you want to be during a snowstorm, a winter storm, because sand doesn't do well. And the only time that they've really kind of upped their budget for salting, like in Dallas, is when the Super Bowl was going through. Super Bowl's in Phoenix this year. So, but anyways, that's a bad. I'd rather be up here in the middle of all this instead of over here all this, because they get what they get this like once or twice a year. So then of course we have a winter weather advisory through here all along 44 and 55, and then this ice event down here, that's troubling because those roads aren't the best. And I do have a truck in there too. So and then all of this blue here, I believe, is wind chill advisory. So I want to give you guys this scenario here, okay? Let's say you have a light load and you're shut down on I-80 because of the pileup, because of they just shut the interstate down. They don't mess around. They don't we're not salting this. We're not dealing with this. We're just closing the gates. Sucks to be you, and because they don't want to risk anybody going out there trying to rescue people. It's so barren and desolate out there, and so now you're idling because you either don't have an APU or your APU took a dump, and you're idling for, well, I mean, negative wind chills. You kind of, well, I mean, not wind chills, but negative temps. You kind of want to idle anyways. I don't trust my APU after 10 degrees, below 10 degrees. So now you're sitting for 3 days, idling the truck. That burns fuel. If you're running a reefer, that's burning fuel. And then you're let's say you're driving a Freightliner and you got the one box, well, and then you're doing a light load after that. That's potentially bad for the system. And that's the problem with these new trucks. That's my biggest complaint of brand new trucks or newer trucks, is the DPF systems, right? So it's a hardship of winter. I mean, this is literally the worst time as a truck driver, because between the weather and the lower rates, if you're in the spot market, or the lower volumes, this is definitely, this is why, a lot of people I know, in the past, not currently, but in the past, especially everybody at Landstar, they wouldn't run between January 1st and or actually Christmas to last week of February because of the low rates and all that. And if you look, if you can stack your cash and arrange things, you've got other streams of income. There's you can afford to do that. That's when you take your vacations. Um, because you can sit there and be the best hustler, best negotiator, but if your truck's down or I-80's closed, or you're in a ditch, that don't do you any good. And look, with this job comes risk, and with these pileups happening over and over and over, it's like people just, Asian Mai did an article on this one guy that was shut down for a while because of an accident, and then because the weather on 80 there, and then he got rolling again, and we're literally within an hour and a half he was shut down. I think it was an hour and a half. It didn't take long before there was another pileup, because there were trucks passing him doing 80 miles an hour, and because he was running slow, he avoided the pileup. It's like, take your time, man. There's not one damn thing on these trailers that's worth losing your life or losing somebody else's life over. and if you don't want to deal with it, then you're just going to have to deal with lower rates in the Southeast, which, there's nothing wrong with that if your business can sustain it. So instead of taking 2 months off, just run I-10 corridor, you know. So that's and it's hard to avoid this time of year. I mean, I would try. It's like whack-a-mole. You avoid one storm, not realizing that you're heading into another. And I know a lot of people are running Texas right now because they think that they're immune to this stuff, and they're not. That's actually worse. The several times that I've shut down due to weather was because of Texas storms. And you don't even want to be on Dallas during an ice event. No, no, no. Not with all those overpasses. That's a bad day. So, anyways, yeah, this wind chill alert, that's brutal, man. Some of the temperatures in Utah were, are you listening, Greg? -41 below zero. So, yeah. Yeah, Stanley, Ohio there, cool trucking, -30. So, anyways, let's go over some chat, and then I'm gonna tell you how my week was last week. Holy hell, it was not pretty. I'm gonna tell you a scenario. So Nathaniel, what's up? Good morning. Don, what's up? WCF Invader. Yes. DPG, what's up? This tour life. Jason, what's up? Trucker Jason, what's up? CB, good morning from Fort Collins, Colorado. You're actually in a not as nefarious position, I think. Marty, what's up? Desert Okie Pam, what's up? Pale Rider is alive. I'm glad. On my way to Vegas, old school, new school. Well, I hope you're coming up from the south. Well, actually, no, you're screwed either way. The good thing about the Texas, it won't last long. So you might lose a day. Pigtail, what's up? Draco, we already discussed. Good morning. Pale Rider, feel better? Yeah, Pale Rider. We command you to feel better. It's about time I catch you live. How y'all doing? What's up, Cool Trucking? Greg, good morning, Steve. How about a new weather segment to your live feed? Greg is screwed. Let's see where Greg is screwed today. Oh, man. I'm sorry I laughed, but, you made the joke. Grafton, what's up? It was 15 degrees here and raining. Never seen it do that before. Yeah, it was doing that here in Springfield as well. It's like I noticed cars were going down our main artery here pretty slow. I'm like, huh. And I noticed my windshield was frozen. I'm like, huh. And so as I drive a F-150, so as I'm peeling out, it peels out. It's like, wow. I'm like, okay, we're going home. Because we're gonna do some more running around. So the kids bought me for Christmas an Academy gift card. I was gonna go look at a few things there, but we're like, we better just go home. My poor car is caked in ice, and our roads look like donut glaze. Yep, that is true. So it's a good thing you can work from home. I'm currently in the Detroit, Michigan area. It's not very bad here yet. That's the key word. Trying to get from Grand Island to Boise. Yeah, Greg, it's not looking good, dude. It's not looking good. Sean Tuck, the Tunk, we famous here. Is that because of the Philly? I noticed that Philadelphia won their game last night, and we've all known historically Philadelphia likes to burn their own city down whenever good things happen as well as bad things. They'll riot and loot over a football game, but they won't riot and protest over the amount of people there that are homeless and drug addicted there on Kensington Avenue, but that's a different topic for a different day. But I noticed my scanner radio app went wild, so I knew something was going on down there. Flurries up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some kind of jackknife Amazon semi and hot shot on the eastbound side of I-96, marker 77 at Portland, Michigan. Let's see. Thanks for the heads up, Grafton. I'll be heading that way when I leave from Wixom, Michigan. Let's see. Been chatting with the base stations as I get unloaded over here. That's cool. David Edwards, morning. Wheelburner, good morning. Wheelburner did another marathon. It was Friday night instead of Saturday night. Saturday, it was TJ. Bring a company driver. Doesn't help matters. We get no choice but to run. Look, I as a company driver, I have no problem shutting down. One time, 3 of us from this company here. Oh wait, TCSI. We called the night dispatch guy and told him, "Hey, all 3 of us are sitting here in Spiceland, Indiana, having a safety meeting at Denny's, and we've decided that it's unsafe to run. It's ice storm out here." We sat there for 2 days, so they were not pleased. But you know what? You're the captain of that ship, man. Does the company no good to have a $200,000 rig in the ditch? Just got the announcement. Schools are shut down due to cold weather, -30 in Stanley, Idaho. I'll be having fun in Fort Worth, Texas. You absolutely, well, I don't know if I'd use the word fun, but you're definitely going to have an interesting time. Don, good morning. Is there anything good in your world? Mark Johnson, yes. I'm alive. I have a warm house. Everybody's safe. And I have a means to make money outside of the truck. And my truck is road ready if I have to get in it. I don't know if you guys saw my short where I could prove to myself I could back. And, when I parked the trailer at the trailer place, and then when I parked where I park, also had the back. And that was a one shot. No pull-ups, man. Should have got my GoPro and just proved that I could still drive a damn truck. But what do I got to prove, man? I've done my time. And we're going to do some more time, so it doesn't matter. Maybe not this week because of the weather, but, anyways, we'll figure it out. But, no, everything's good, man. Everything's good. The company I'm with will absolutely not push you to run in unsafe conditions. If I say I'm stopping or routing around traffic jam with a major out of route, they're cool with it. Just got to communicate. And look, dispatchers might do that grudgingly. They might be like, "Rrr." But because here's the thing, if you have a wreck that causes major damage or injury and death, they're going to be like, "I don't know why you ran. We tell these guys not to run if it gets bad." They want the liability off of them. And there's been this eternal struggle. There's been an eternal struggle between safety and dispatch, or safety and operations. And even the brokers are catching on with this as well. 10 years ago, if you talked to a broker and told them you were shutting down, they would just lose their mind. Hey, Big Rig CO, he had a story for me where he called the broker and was like, "Hey, I'm shut down. I can't deliver this load on time." And the broker's just like, "What do you mean it's shut down? You need to get out there." The guy's like, "No, the interstate is literally closed. You can't go anywhere." And the dude still had a fit. Those days are, hopefully are gone. And if you're working with a broker that does say stuff like that, then you need to axe that relationship pretty quickly and complain to their superiors, because no one wants that $1 million lawsuit. You don't. Your company doesn't. The broker doesn't. Trust me on this. They don't want that. And if you have to put it to them that way, look, do you want $1 million lawsuit because I take out a family because you're and no one's got a gun to your head. No one's forcing you to do anything. That's the insane thing about this. No one's forcing you to do anything. There's nobody in your truck with threatening your life or threatening your family's lives. The worst that can happen is that the load goes late, or there might even be a cargo claim. Let's say it's produce and it spoils, right? But yet that produce does no good if it's on the side of the interstate in a ditch with your dead body strung all over it. No one's forcing you to do anything. These ELDs don't force you to do anything. All ELDs are is a record of compliance. That's it. And if you have extreme circumstances, then you log them and you show them and you deal with it. There's nobody forcing you to do anything. You are the captain of that ship. That's the beauty of being a truck driver. I don't care if you're a company owner, doesn't matter. If your truck physically can't move because they got gates across the interstate where you can't run, or there's a huge fine if you're running like in Pennsylvania, then it's out of your hands. It's out of your control. There's no reason to stress on it. There's nothing you can absolutely do. And if it causes you to lose a lot of money as an owner operator, then that's what you have to prepare for. Use this as a learning experience. Wow, I shut down for 4 days because, weather sucks. There was a pileup. No one knows how to drive, and now, I'm forced. I'm having to shut down. And now I'm going to lose a whole week with this, and this could possibly put me under. Well, if you're in a business situation where 1 week will put you under, then you probably have other issues going on as well. You can't have that thin margin. You can't have that thin margin for error because of what you're seeing in front of you on your screen. Because weather don't care about your cost. The weather don't care about your broker. The weather doesn't care about your e-log. Icy roads don't care about your intentions. If it's too hard to run, it's too hard to run. Stuart, good morning. Negative. Hey, y'all, getting unloaded in DeKalb, Illinois. Running across US 54 to Tucumcari. Good morning from North Dakota, where it's a balmy negative 18. Ugh. Been MIA. Sister-in-law recently passed away unexpectedly. Buck Brown, my condolences to you, man. Sorry to hear that. DIY Semi, good morning. DIY, I think we intend to go live on his channel to do the Fahrenheit 451 book review. So make sure you tune into that. I think are we still thinking about doing that this evening? I'm in Dubois, Idaho. Roads are still closed. Alfalfa Grafton, same here with the company I'm at. What is up, DIY? Amazing live yesterday. Lots of useful information. That was my favorite live you've had yet with Paul. I missed that. I'll have to go back and watch that. How about them Eagles? Picked up in Immokalee, Florida. It was a bitter 80 degrees here. Rub it in. Can't even work from home today because we're not told to plan ahead. I just have to make up hours the rest of the week. Oh, okay. That sucks. Jason, I also agree with Grafton's last comment to the extent I will shut down if it's gotten too bad. I've been doing this trucking thing for 20 years. -13 here, and drugs suck. Yeah, it's really bad when the government and doctors pump out the blues and get everybody addicted. Jason, I'm unloaded. Lots to go. Chat with everybody later. When you quickly dumped us Friday, we now know your loyalty is to your trucks, not us. Yeah, so that was so we can talk about that situation. What happened? Big rig, CO. Yep, it's an ice rink in Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, they closed schools and everything, so you probably already know that. Good morning, Snorelord. I'm at the receiver here in Ferguson. The receiver isn't open yet. Enjoying a cup of Joe, ready to hunker down if necessary. Thanks for showing dispatch. Yeah, I'll touch bases with you when I'm done. No, but they threaten your livelihood. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Maybe tonight we will talk. Okay. Well, I learned a valuable lesson at the expense of someone else last week. Always scale your load if you're close to being overweight. Look, I have the right way scale system on my truck and trailer, and I highly encourage people to have that. It's not a, and I've explained this in the videos where I explain that system. I love it because those lows that you're kind of not sure, you're a little bit more sure. But then, if it's 45 and change or 44 and change and it looks a little close, man, scale it out. The difference is I go from, on a year that I'm actually working, I go from like, maybe 20 scale tickets to like 3, in a year. So, which is, I mean, look, it pays for itself, especially that cat keeps up and everything. Tolga, good morning. Let's see. New truck sales are picking up. Now's the time to purchase a truck, new or used. Yeah, I mean, prices are definitely coming down. So they're definitely coming down. So here's what happened to me. This is why I had to get off the webs Friday. So we grabbed a load from San Antonio to Chicago, essentially. And we'd already just done one of these, so we hadn't had any, this broker I use all the time. We didn't have issues with the last turnaround because I've literally been bouncing between Chicago and San Antonio area. That was a good lane for a minute, for reefer. And well, driver gets to Chicago and they're like, "You're in the wrong facility." Like, yeah, which facility do I need to be? Portland, Oregon. Yeah, that's a problem. So I get on a 3-way with the driver and the broker, and driver, he's a good person, man. He's a good dude, and and he's like, well, we have a choice. I told the broker this, that we have a choice. We can either cross dock this, or we're going to take it all the way across to Oregon. But I literally told the broker, I'm going to ream you for this. And he's like, understood. So we agreed to an insane amount, and he comes back 10 minutes later. Is like, yep, looks like you're going to Portland, man. They agreed to your rate. Sent me a new rate con, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, sweet. And then the weather's like, so that's why I have a driver out there. But it's a large amount of money. So hopefully there's more chance of some net being left, even after idling and having to deal with the road closures and all that. So as long as he gets there safe, and it's a light load as well. So usually that's a good thing. Most people are like, oh yeah, light load, I'm going to save on fuel. Well, not if you can't roll anywhere and it's too windy and it's icy and you're having to idle for 3 days. So, so that's why. And so that was the conversation that had to be had. That's why I had to get off the live feed that quickly, because look, my trucks do come first. which is why I go so early, because usually the action, especially on Mondays, don't happen until mid morning. You might get lucky with something, but the odds of that, especially now, is slim to none. So, um, you know, but trucks come first. I'm a dispatch safety guy first. This YouTube stuff comes second. So, let's see. SST, what's up? Sean, 2023 Cascadia is 148. Wow. That's actually not bad. That's that's well, that's not surprising. How long were we predicting that the first quarter was going to be tough, and that truck prices would come down, both new and used. Trailers a little bit, but not to the level that trucks will be. Cool Truckin' says it's true. Now's the time to buy. I've found a lot of good deals. Trucks and trailers, 50 grand. 55 watching, 8 thumbs up. Let's go, guys. Hit the thumbs up real quick. Thank you. Look, this weather's bad but doable. My rule is I don't drive tired or scared. Period. There you go. Um and look, the majority of the I-80 issues is because of the pileups right now. And so they had a pileup up there in Wisconsin, Illinois. They're off of 94 or 90. Was it 90? Maybe 90, 94, right there. They had a pileup a couple of days ago with that. And no one slows down. I mean, you don't want to be like doing 10 miles an hour either, but at the same time, here's my rule. Okay, this is Safety Steve now talking. Depending on the road conditions and the weight of your truck. I'll give you an example. I was pulling 44,000 pounds up in Michigan. The roads were snow packed. I was able to average about 50 miles an hour, so we're going. And I had no issue. The minute I was empty, that was when it was time for me to pull over. So I found the nearest truck stop, didn't have a load booked anyways. I pulled in and just said, book me something for tomorrow. It was when I was company driver. Now, if you can't average more than, if you're at a situation, if the road conditions don't allow you personally, because maybe you're light, maybe you're empty, more than 45 miles an hour, then it's time to pack. It's time to just park, because you're not gaining anything. You're better off shutting down, letting them clear the roads where you can do full speed and you're good to go. And so that's kind of my gauge. That's my personal gauge. Okay, that whatever you do, right? I don't care. And that changes. If I can average 45 because I got 45 in the box, and you look at your weather maps, you look at you look at Google Maps to see what road closures there are. You look at the weather, it might just be a narrow band that's coming across. So you average 45 for about half an hour, and then you're on the other side of it, you're good to go. The danger of that, the only main danger of that is that the pileups, that's when these pileups happen, because it comes out of nowhere. People are still driving 80 to nothing. Just like yesterday, as the wife and I were driving home and I was sliding all over the place, there were people just going down this main artery road, just going as fast as, late braking the whole 9 yards. I'm surprised we didn't see a wreck coming home. People are just in too much hurry. They're too oblivious to their conditions. They're more concerned about watching YouTube going down the road than realizing that, hey, there's a patch of ice ahead of you, and you better make sure that you're good to go. Keep your fifth wheels greased. and just be aware of the conditions. Snorelord is such a nice guy. He even let the broker know he's about to get reamed. Yep. Because the reason why I did that is for this reason alone. Okay, two reasons actually. Either we were going to solve this problem by cross docking it and still get the original money that we got because we did take it there with some added money, or he was going to be like, "You're insane." We'll, he would have been like, "You're insane, Steve. We're going to cross dock this," or we were going to get our ridiculous amount to go across as long as the driver was willing, and he was. And he warned the broker. He's like, "Look, man, weather's coming in. You better give me some cushion on the appointment time." And he did, and looks like it's not going to be enough. So we'll have to have that conversation with the broker come 8 o'clock. I looked at the Volvo dealership, pimped out Globetrotters 200K. Yeah, you don't want one of those. They're too heavy. Where can I get me one of them new Cascades for 150K? I have to find a dang dealer that will actually talk to me instead of blowing me off. That's I don't I that's getting worse and worse. You're going in there willing to spend 150 $200,000 and you're treated like you're buying a pack of cigarettes at a convenience store. Yeah, still 6 months wait time on them too. Our fleet price is for a fully loaded 23 is 2005 Canadian. That comes out to 157 US. That's not bad. Good morning, Steve. I'm so late. Well, that puts me last. Good to see you. Dang, not bad at all, Wheelburner. If you don't mind actually find a dealer and go through with it, I'd like to use your services to get one set perfectly for my application. Whenever you're ready, Don, just let me know. T-Bone, what's up? Good morning. I will be ordering my new truck in a couple of weeks before I head up to the ice roads. We only have a 7-month wait for new Freightliners right now. That's good. But now if you're buying used equipment, buyer beware, because a lot of people that are giving up their equipment right now weren't able to afford the maintenance on it. So who knows what was neglected. Picked up a 2019 Cascadia on Friday. Nice. You can tell me later what you paid for it. When the road shuts down, plan ahead. Find a place shut down that has resources for you. Utilize instead of you relying on only on your stores. So this time of year, and I do it today. Like if I have to go back on the road, I will head to Walmart. I will have several gallons of water. I will have at least 2 weeks of food with intermittent fasting, non-perishable. Usually that means canned vegetables and canned meat. And I will buy um, ghee, GHEE, which is shelf stable butterfat. Because that helps satiety. I keep a jar of that in the truck, and that way, if because I learned that early. So I had a buddy of mine that he was on. This was years and years ago. This guy that I drove with over at Transland, and he was stuck on I-81 during a massive, massive like shutdown on the interstate snowstorm. Like the National Guard had to be called out to rescue a lot of people and to bring fuel to the trucks. That's how bad that got. So he sat there for 3 days and he didn't have any food on the truck. And so he was literally drinking snow for water and had no food. And so he had to bum sandwiches off of other drivers. And so with that experience before my low carb deal, I always had at least peanut butter and bread on the truck at all times, because at the absolute worst, you can at least eat that. But have some kind of non-perishable food on your truck. Like during the vid, I had 2 weeks worth of food, canned goods, all kinds of different stuff where, because, you know, truck stops were closed. They weren't selling any food. They were selling any fuel, but no food. And yeah, I mean, you got to be self-sustaining, especially if you run out west. Look, if you're shutting down in Dallas, it's not a big deal, but you at least want some food on the truck. But if you're shut down for 4 days out in Cheyenne, Wyoming, you might be at one of those truck pull-off areas when the crap hits. And you got to be prepared for that. Ask the old school guys; they'll tell you. So that's kind of what you got to do. Because look, if the roads are shut down, well, they may not be able to get to the store to even open it. Truck for Fun, good morning. Congrats, DIY. DIY, you going to make a video about it? Look forward to hear how it works for you and your driver. A jar of peanut butter goes a long way protein-wise. Right. And, I mean, it's... There's shelf-stable milk that you can buy. Always. And look, my truck is pretty cluttered. I won't lie. But that's partially why, because I have clothing for the entire year. I have clothing for all seasons, basically, not the entire year, but clothing for all seasons. And I have food for 2 weeks. Now, I probably have to go in the truck and see what's good and what's not. I don't think I have much left in there. And coffee. Coffee is important to have in the truck. And a coffee brewer. Brewer. Wow. Thank you, DIY. Gifted somebody a membership. That's pretty cool. Thank you. Isn't that a neat thing? Memberships are awesome. I was at the TA in Rawlings 1 year ago during a shutdown. They ran out of food. Were you at the Flying J? Because I've been there. I was shut down there for 34 unwillingly. I was a newbie still, and I was looking at my log, and I called my dispatch. I'm like, hey, I think I'm out of hours. They're like, wow, yeah, you are. We'll extend your delivery time and just kind of keep an eye on that in the future, please. He was not very happy with me. And you know how many TV stations? This is back before the streaming crap. You know how many TV stations were in Rollins? 3. 2 were Spanish. One was Spanish. One was religious, and the other one was PBS. So obviously, we went inside and bought quite a few DVDs. So then I acquired a DVD collection in the truck as well. Not so much now. Now I've got streaming services, so I used to keep a lot of music in my truck too, but thanks to streaming services, I don't have to do that anymore. But thank you, DIY, for doing that. That doesn't pop up on my StreamYard. So, guys, take a look at that. Thank you. So, anyways, we won't get into rates. Rates were pretty bad last week. And what it is the volumes, and it's forcing the AI down. Now, if you guys remember Sage News Network or whatever he's calling himself today, he did a whole thing on AI and made it sound like it was going to be the end of everything. And here's the deal. So the AI is just another thing that you got to deal with. It's another thing that can and should be manipulated, and or at least navigated. And you're like, well, how do you manipulate AI pricing? Finding the stuff that's multiple stop, finding the stuff that they can't use that stuff, finding the brokers that don't use that stuff. Oh, that reminds me. Let me I was sent this by a broker. Let me find this email. There were 2 alerts issued. Let's see here. I can't share the screen because it's got sensitive information on there that this person doesn't want out. All right. This broker has observed the spread of strategic and fraudulent theft methods from primarily West Coast and Southern California areas to new regions in the eastern United States. At least one organized theft group is targeting consumer electronics, alcoholic beverages, and other in demand products for theft by way of carrier identity theft and triple brokering and double loading schemes. Okay. As methods for strategic theft have become more sophisticated, fraudulent carriers are completing full and partial shipments to destination. In some cases, this is to build trust with the shipper by completing loads to gain access to high value shipments. In other cases, they are legitimately delivering non targeted cargo that has been double loaded into a stolen high value shipment. In either case, the ability to make a profitable return trip is not going unnoticed. This method has been noted in major supply chain nodes along the East Coast as well as Indiana and Illinois. Shippers in these areas should expect to see fraudulent. Let me rephrase that. Shippers in these, or re-say it. Shippers in these areas should expect to see fraudulent theft methods increase in the coming weeks and months as these fraudulent carriers and drivers book return loads that will suffer the same types of theft as those typically seen in Southern California. Recommendations. Oh. Advise your shippers of consumer electronics and other highly targeted cargo departing from affected areas to be thorough in vetting carriers before and at arrival. Driver information, including name, copy of the CDL and insurance, phone number, etc. The carrier information, name, USDOT number, phone number, address, email, etc., should be provided before driver arrival and should match the information of the driver and tractor that arrived to uplift the shipment. Any additional red flags should be noted, such as driver not matching CDL photo, temporary or recently covered or removed signage of tractor or trailer indicating recent or frequent remarking / masking, temporary license plates or driver's licenses, and nuts with bolts in place of rivets on trailer seals, seal has, which allow the trailer to be opened and closed without disturbing the seal. Thorough documentation should be kept that include photos taken at origin of the driver, his CDL, the back of the trailer with seal affixed, seal number visible, tractor and trailer identifying markings and license plates, and the POL. So there's that. And what I noticed last week was a lot of brokers that I've never recognized. I had a friend of mine that had 2 loads in a row that driver showed up. There wasn't a real load. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. If you're a carrier, if you don't get your money, you don't get your money, and you don't want your stuff stolen. Now, as far as locks and seals, a lock only stops an honest man or a lazy thief. So, but you got to show the broker or the customer, if you're doing direct, that you've done everything possible. You want to take pictures of the seal. You want to take pictures of the trailer. You want to take a picture of the trailer before the doors are closed, if you can. I know that some freight that isn't possible, but if you're persistent about it, maybe they don't let you on the dock, and it's one of those you don't even have to open your doors. Then you tell them, "Hey, I need a picture of that cargo before you close those doors, or else I'm not taking this load." I mean, just be situationally aware, and then just know where to park and where not to park. That's another thing. Chucky, good morning. Freight piracy will make driving more exciting, eh? Yep. Another thing is spam. I can live off spam sandwiches, but the hardest thing is to fight eating up everything. When we ration the food, the hungrier we get. It's psychological. Well, that's where if you get into intermittent fasting, that's a lot easier to deal with. That's why I encourage people to do that, because intermittent fasting can save you money, and as long as you're not a boredom eater, you'll be fine. But yeah, if willpower is a problem with that, if you can get into intermittent fasting and do it well, then it won't be then the mental. There are some mental tricks to dealing with that. Gary, good morning. But will they let drivers use the bathrooms? Right? Yes, no load. So you got to be careful out there. And so I was seeing a lot of here's what happened to me at one point last week. I don't know if I got a chance to talk about this or if I did or didn't, but I'm going to say it again. Out of Springfield, Missouri, on Friday, there were 130 some odd loads within a 150-mile radius, which that number alone was pretty crappy. This is Springfield, Missouri. This is usually a great freight area. Okay. Despite all the mega carriers, well, not all of them, but I mean, we've got 2 mega carriers here, or larger carriers, I should say, and a lot of small carriers. And I noticed that I noticed a large percentage of them were going to Canada. So I checked the box that says take away international shipments. So I did, and then it went down to 90 loads. And when I took out California, there was like 30 loads. Nearly all the loads were going into California, Oregon, Washington, or Canada. There might have been one going to Pennsylvania. They were only wanting to pay $1.20 for that. There were loads going to Florida for $1.40 if I wanted that for dry van. And all these brokers were ones that didn't show up. They were red on our factoring company, or they didn't show up at all. They had Gmail accounts. It was insane. And I don't even remember seeing that during the shutdowns when there was only like 50 loads in the area. And the fact that the legitimate loads, the legitimate brokers, it was all going west because of that weather map that I've just been showing you all morning. People have settled in. They've created their relationships, and the carriers and the brokers that decide to work together and are like, hey, just keep me moving so you don't have to post it on the low board. That's what's going on right now. They've taken all the freight. So just be aware of that. And so I'll be curious to see what, I'm now keeping an eye on Springfield, because there might be a time where I have to take a few loads myself. And even though the short haul is started to pay better around here, it's got to appear on the low board first. And then I'm not seeing that because I mean, I'm not going out to California. I mean, if it's life or death, or it's the survival of my business, then yeah, I would do it. But I've kind of like developed a foundation where I don't have to do that. And that's kind of where we're at. Mr. Charles says the Kansas City area is definitely thin and being booked within seconds when they hit the board for cheap. Yes, nobody's negotiating anymore. It's insane. And look, when you've made 20 phone calls and 10 of them are gone before you can call, that's a game right there. That's part of that game, and you're like, at that point you stop negotiating. Now they're paying okay for van to go into California, but then you got to look at what's coming out. It's not great. California is the new Florida. So come on, folks, show some love and hit the thumbs up. So look, it's going to be tough, man, but it's doable. If you got the right mindset, man, you'll get through this. And we could sit there with our crystal balls and see what the future holds. At the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? That's the only thing you've got control over. If rates and volumes explode next month, that'd be awesome. But I guarantee you that you'll fall, a lot of people will fall into the same bad habits of when the last rates were. Look, if rates go sky high, like insanely high next month or in April or March, I'm going to be like, wow, well, there goes truck prices. There goes labor prices. There goes parts prices. There goes the truck prices. So, I mean, this whole, do we deserve more? We don't deserve squat. That's the thing. God put you on this earth with food and water. The rest is bonus. You got to create that. You got to do that for yourself. Good morning from Arizona. I've got coffee in the desert. Hey to all, what's the best coffee? What's the best coffee? That's a good question. Jackknife, good morning. Time, DIY, very wise man. Time to sharpen those business skills, let go of the past, deal with the present. That's it. And if you can't hack it, get out of the way. Right? It's you gotta. I mean, look, it's part of being an entrepreneur. Really, think about it. If you own a truck, you're an entrepreneur. That's it. That's if you're making a truck payment. Let me rephrase that. If you're making a truck payment, I don't care if you own it, lease it, rent it. Whether it's a full maintenance lease or it's a 1999 Freightliner that you work on yourself, you're an entrepreneur. You're making business. You're running a business. So act like it. Agent Orange, I like hot coffee. This is the time of year where I put everything in the mug. We got our Like Trucking. No, it's not going to do it. Like Trucking travel mug. I got to make some Snorelord travel mugs. That was a request in Shannon's live feed yesterday. First payment towards repainting for your time last week. Thank you, best dispatcher ever. You're too kind. You're too kind, Don. If rates go up, the spot market, I'll be pulling chicken. I'll still be pulling chicken. As long as you're not choking the chicken. Pro tip, once you have a load confirmation, call shipper, but say this is Steve calling on behalf of ABC Broker, just confirming order number is ready. Any check-in procedures for drivers equals due diligence, right? Morning, Steve. Glad I had a free day to catch you live. Hope all is well. Good deal. Rates guaranteed to go to record levels. Walmart can't get enough merchandise. Truckers won't truck. So, look, as DIY said, sharpen your business skills. Let go of the past. And learn from the present and work towards the future. And hats, yes, Shannon wants hats. StreamYard hat gave me or not StreamYard. Teespring gave me the option to try a hat, but they did not like my file. So I got which they're good files. I mean, they're really good files. So I don't know what they need. So, but I'm not making them myself, and I'm not shipping them myself because that's expensive. Jeff does that, and there's a reason why there's not 100 like trucking hats out there. Also with the mugs, I have to look. Now, we went to this flea market Saturday, and there's a person that was making laser engraved mugs. I should have inquired on how much it cost because they were only charging $10 a mug. So I wanted to inquire. I should have inquired about if they could make some for me because they're local. They were right here in Missouri, I believe. So you got a Thunder Funny mug? I don't have one of them. Man. Learn to keep as many hands out of your money pot as possible. I have a good conspiracy theory. You just ruined my monetization, Gary. Thank you. The brokerage companies partnered with the low boards and higher education college university are trying to create a new product utilizing the known game theory. I'm not smart, so I got to read that again. The brokerage companies partnered with the low boards and higher education are trying to create a new product utilizing the known game theory. They've already done that, Gary. DAT has a whole commercial on FreightWaves on how, DAT's got videos on their smart pricing system. And the numbers are manipulated. What makes them work or not work in our favor is demand. And right now, demand is not in our favor. Capacity is loose. So if you're in a spot market, you're fighting for every dollar right now. Whereas before, so we were watching an episode of Shark Tank the other night, and this lady was showing her sales, and they were good. And all of a sudden, one year, it was like their profit margin went down the tubes. And she had mentioned that shipping container costs went from $4,000 to $25,000, which ate all of her profit margins. Why was that? Because there was such a huge demand after the shutdowns when everything went back online, and they were sending empty containers back because they needed them so quickly. And so if you want to know what demand's going to do, especially in the van world or the flatbed world, look at what the actual ships are doing. And those charts are all on a downward trend because China's in this social economic hardship right now. They got like a civil unrest, and they've got lockdowns and the whole 9 yards going on over there. And this is because of a reliance on that country. This is part of that problem. But also because people are tightening their belts. They're not out there buying a bunch of stuff. Even food. Get this. Even food has gone down. And so when you look at Walmart, that looks empty shelves, is it really empty shelves? Or is that just all they're ordering? And you guys got to mind you, like the store here, there's one of the stores here in Springfield where they've taken a whole section of the store and it's now a section only for the online shoppers. So if Walmart is now closed, I don't think they're 24 hours anymore. And they open up at say 6 a.m. Well, there's people at 4 a.m. that are getting that stuff first for the online orders. And so when you go there and you're like, gee, I wonder why there's no milk. Well, because the 50 people that ordered online got it first. And you didn't know about it because it's in a room in the back or a room that they've sectioned off, and you didn't even know they were in there shopping. And so it's so, supply and demand. I mean, that's literally. I mean, they can manipulate the numbers all they want, but supply is supply, demand is demand. And so you have to manipulate that. How can I deal with that? If you deal with a product that isn't a supply and demand product, that's the sweet spot. They're closing turkey plants. Egg farms. There's something funky going on with the chicken feed, because even people with home chickens can't get them to lay eggs. So you got that going on, and that's not some headline conspiracy. That's something that personal people have told me. And so you just got to be aware. Oh, were you actually asking me, Shadow Wolf, what's the best coffee? Well, I like Black Rifle coffee. If you find that in Arizona, that's good stuff. Our look, Walmart has supply issues as well. Yeah, they want to get look. The reason why we enjoyed rates so good, last year was because of the inefficiencies that were created by the shutdowns. And they will make it absolutely sure that that never happens ever again. Because when you're a small business and your costs go from $4,000 a container to $25,000 a container, if I'm a brick and mortar company owner, that's the last thing I ever want to happen ever again. And so, yeah, they're looking at just upending our world. Flip it upside down, rebuild the system. So you got to deal with that. Dollar General has better inventory than Walmart here. I have a like truck and hat. I'm special. You are special. Walmart is trying to deep cut inventories. Read about that on Friday. And as truck drivers, we see that first, and then this article confirms it. When the elite decides to invest in American manufacturing, that's when things turn around. Shadow Wolf, my favorite one is called Highlander Grog, but I forget who makes it. That's Cameron's. Nothing witty. I usually get the fancy stuff for holidays. It tastes like butterscotch. Look at Zim shipping on the stock market and how much dividends they've been paying. Just shows how much the container companies profited. So, my wife has a conspiracy theory about the 3 Walmarts here. South Walmart is set up for college students. East side is set up for broke folk, and the west side is set up for the well-off. That's true. I've seen that. Look, we've got Walmarts on the south side, which is a better economic area than the 2 of them off the interstate on the north side, where all the homeless camp out at. The shelves are a lot more bare there. So there's some of that going on. And yes, each one has very different inventory quality of produce. Over 150% divided. Right, people are not buying. The warehouses are still like 80-90% capacity, so our rates go down and the amount of loads go down as well. Yes, I highly recommend that, Cameron's. The shutdowns put an end to just-in-time freight. It did, and that's where you made your money. So, look, there's 76 people in here. Give me the thumbs up if you don't mind. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. Thanks to DIY for the gifted membership to Old School, New School, and I appreciate every single person. We didn't go over any low board stuff. It's kind of pointless on Monday. But if you're interested in the 123 low board, go to the website, put in my code, and you can kind of figure things out on your own. You get 30 days free and then $35 a month for all the tools that I usually show. You can go to my past videos to see what I show, and I don't even show all of them. So it's a great resource. You don't need a DOT number to have that low board. Thanks for everybody that supports the channel. I will probably not be live unless something comes up. I should maybe be live with DIY Semi tonight, talking about a book. We're not going to talk about trucking. Don't even try. He'll shut you down. And that I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll do it tonight. Keep an eye on his community page for the alerts, and I'll also put it on my community page for the alert on that. If you've read that book, whether in the past or in the present, I think it'll be a good discussion, and we encourage everybody to kind of join in on that discussion. I appreciate the super chat and super chats. And you guys, look, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Keep swimming, keep persevering. If you're shut down, stay safe, stay warm, be smart. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll leave you with this lovely, lovely, soothing sounds. If I can click the right button, soothing sounds of some brutal death metal.